friends. We now invite you to join us for the Animation Academy. Please welcome your sketch artist, Michael Montgomery.
Hey friends, how are we doing this afternoon? Wow, look at this crowd. Wow, I thought the cold weather would make everybody go, but welcome to winter in Central Florida. All right, hi, my name is Michael Montgomery, and we're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna draw. And a little bit about me is I've just this month, I've been involved with the Walt Disney Company for 26 years. I have worked in feature animation. My very first film was Hercules, and then I went on to work on Mulan and Brother Bear and Lilo and Stitch, and all those movies in that time. And then I moved on to Disney Live Entertainment, and it's really kind of special for me today because I've never actually, I do set design, I create stages, and I actually created this stage for tonight's Disney on Broadway, and I'm like, wait, I'm going to draw on my stage? That's cool! So really, thank you all very much for coming out. So I was going to make a joke about the cold weather today, and be like, boy, I wish we were in Hawaii. But Hawaii's only like 3 degrees warmer than it is right now. So, but anyway, I thought today we could draw my favorite little Hawaiian girl, Lilo. Alright. Alrighty here, so there I am. I just want to do a quick test to see how hard I need to draw. There we go. Okay, so in the true Disney fashion, what we usually start with is a circle. Now, it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. And draw lightly. Everybody draw lightly, because later on we are going to draw a little bit harder, and we'll define all those lines. I'm going to get my clock up here. There we go. I like to talk. All right, so we've got our circle. There we go. And we're going to split this circle, not down the middle and not left to right like you probably traditionally have seen. I'm going to ask you to draw a slight curve at a slight angle, going from left to right. Kind of like that. It's kind of like your head is tilted just a little bit, because Lilo is a curious little girl. All right. Now, in animation, we have a big circle desk, and we can spin that desk all the way around. Here, as you can see, I'm locked in, so you might see me like make these crazy contortions with my body just to try to get that shape that I want. All right, so I've got my cross. So now I made a line going horizontally left to right, and also kind of with a slight curve to it. This is going to help me and you lock in where the eyes and the nose and the face go, okay? So we're going to, first I'm going to start with Lilo's nose, and by doing that, we're going to do a little trick where we're going to break the ball now very, very lightly, into thirds. So I'm going to come over on this side of the hemisphere, and I'm going to draw a very light line up, following the kind of curve, kind of parallel, and then on the other side, same distance away, I'm going to draw another light line. There you go, very light. Now, in between those and below the middle line here, I'm going to draw an oval that doesn't go any further than halfway down this side, so I'm kind of on this upper half. And that's really what drawing to me is studying proportions and shapes, and then making those shapes live together, and then we get another shape, or an image that we all recognize. Okay, so we have the rough of her nose. Now we're going to roughly put in her eye. So I'm not going to, her eye lives in this little quadrant right here. And we're going to make an almond shape, but first let's draw a little construction line. Her eyes actually go at an angle, just like that. Real light, real light. And then, just above that horizon line that you drew, this cross line, we're going to make an almond shape. And the top of the almond is going to be a little bit higher than the bottom of the almond. Like so. Okay? You see me, you might catch me looking down. I actually have a model sheet up here. And that's what animators have at their desk while we draw the characters, a model sheet that shows poses and stuff of the characters. All right, so now we have her eyes roughed in very lightly. And now I'm going to work on her eyes. So her eyes are pretty big. She's inquisitive, she's young, so her her eyes are really big. So it's a perfect circle, but it lives inside the top and the bottom. You can't see them because they're hidden by her lids. And on the other side, we're going to do another circle. But again, you don't see the top of the circle, you don't see the bottom of the circle because her lid, so it lives inside. Yeah, just like our eyes. You know, our eyes live inside our eyelids. All right? So what we want to do next is, now that I've kind of got this proportion good, I'm going to break in her face, like take in the shape of her face. So there's a pretty famous, Pinocchio has it and stuff. We call it the peanut. And so it's this shape right here where there's a little bit of a forehead and that. And if I do that, I can, like if I just did this, hey, it's Pinocchio, So we're going to take the peanut here and I'm going to come in a curve on this side towards her eye. And then I'm going to connect and make a curve, just like that, to the top of her head. And now she's 6 years old, so she's still got that cute little baby fat on her. All right, so we're going to make her cheek. And her cheek comes down like that. All right. Come around. And we're using that first circle that we used as a guide. We don't want to go too far away from it, but we do want to add that kind of bean shape. See that bean? You'll also hear me say S-curve a lot. I like S-curves. There's an S-curve right in there. All right. So now we have her basic shape of her face. Now, using this guide, I'm going to come down from her circle in her eye. I'm going to come straight down here, and I'm going to put a little dimple right about there. Yep, there we go. Let me darken in this eye for everybody. I'm sorry. Even I'm drawing too light. There we go. All right. Now I want to add another dimple. I'm going to put that right about there. So it's about halfway between the faces. And now, just like a smile, I'm going to connect the dots. But I'm going to do it with a nice gentle curve. You'll hardly ever find a straight line on a Disney character. All right, now to do her mouth, we're going to come down from here, but not all the way to the edge. No, we're going to come down kind of from like where, gauge about where the nose is. I'm going to come down and make this kind of bowl. And come up. There we go. Something like that. And then let's finish this off by giving her just a little bit of a tongue. And the tongue is real fun because it's kind of just like two little hills, one in the front and one in the back. There we go. So we can start to see Lilo come about. All right, so now let's add the details, the things that really make her come alive. So we're going to add her ears, and her ears come, again, her ears come just about halfway through the eye, and then just make, for those musicians out there, a bass clef. And for the non-musicians on this side, the letter C. All right. Now inside her ear is this kind of like letter 5, number 5. Kind of looks like that. So do something like that. All right. Now, do you remember how in the very beginning I had you break up her head into thirds? Taking those very light lines, that's pretty much where her neck lands. So you just want to draw a little indication of the neck. She doesn't have a very long neck, she's a little girl. So, there's like that. All right. We're now going to go back and focus on her hair. So her hair is kind of a bunch of round triangles. Almost look like, if you flipped it upside down, it almost looks like ocean waves if you drew a cartoon ocean wave. So we're going to start kind of in the middle here. And we're going to draw, coming down just a little bit, almost to the level of the eye. We're going to draw this kind of rounded shape right there. And we're going to make another medium size, smaller than the first one. And then there's this little S curve, which is a little S curve right there. Okay, that's the partner hair right there. So from that position, that little point that I just made, we're going to swing down. This is a fun shape. This is another S curve. See, I love S curves. So we're going to come down to her ear, and this rounds around her head and then comes up in the front. So it's a nice S shape. Okay? Now, she has a big flowing swoop in the front here, but her hair is black, so sometimes it's hard to see, but there's actually another S curve that goes just like that. Just like that. There you go. And now her hair tucks behind her ears. So we're going to start at the ear, about halfway up on the left-hand side. We're going to come up. And then if you think about the shape, this whole piece of hair here, run like that. And then over the top here, well, not too far, just about, about the height of her eye. You want to complete that curve. There we go. All right. Then from here, the hair gets pretty simple because you just take a curve and continue that line through her ear, and then come over here and continue her eye. There. All right. So now, the last thing I'm going to do is put her eyebrows in. Now the reason I didn't put her eyebrows in when we did her eyes is because her hair has such a relationship to her eyebrows that I didn't want to cover the eyebrows. So her eyebrows tuck right in there, and then I'll make this dark for everybody to see. Right about in there. Alright? Alright. So she's coming along here. If you'd like to, just follow along and just make a nice, another kind of big swooping bowl shape, and that kind of completes her collar and her little gown that she wears. Now famous red gown. All right, so I've got my rough in. Now I want to take this, I want to clean it up. I want to take, like, so in animation we would do this rough, and then we'd have another sheet of paper on top of it, or we would switch to, where it is, we'll switch to a black pencil. So we would work in either red or in blue, and that was because the computer, when it scanned our images, we calibrated, so it wouldn't see the blue or it wouldn't see the red. It would only see the black line that we left over. So I'm going to come back in here. Find your favorite line. Find what you think is your favorite line, and then I'm going to come in here. And I'm going to find my favorite line here. So again, nice and round. Lilo and Stitch are very round characters, very expressive. And a little trick, a little tip, what we do sometimes to make our characters come even more alive, because they are just lines on a piece of paper, is when we get to the bottom of a round shape, like Lilo's neck, we'll actually make the line a little thicker. And then when we're doing something delicate, like her hair at the top, will be thinner. So you may hear animators talk about thick and thin lines, or illustrators talk about thick and thin lines, and that's just to add volume to an otherwise flat drawing. All right. So now I'm going to go back into her eye, and so her eye has an eye, the eyelashes, and she doesn't have eyelashes like her older sister. She does have a darker, heavier line, and then a lighter line on the bottom. So then, yeah, just like that. All right. So, finish off the eye in there. All right. Now, Lilo also, because it's sunny in Hawaii, she's got these little highlights, and she's got really dark brown eyes, so if we were to draw this for the film, she would actually have, believe it or not, a brow and a pupil in there, And we'll just knock that in real lightly. You can do it and you don't have to. Now, her nose, I left her nose for last. I will leave her nose for last because her nose actually is kind of interesting how it's put together. We drew an oval, but she doesn't have like a clown nose. So what makes her nose so unique is that young characters have very subtle features, and some of our cutest little characters have very subtle features. And those subtle features are sometimes really hard to capture. So Lilo's nose actually has 4 lines that make up the shape of her nose. So there's 2 on the left, one on the left, and that's this shape here, and then 1 on the right. But I kind of taper the line. If you don't know what taper means, it means going from thick and just kind of like, letting it fly off the page, just like. And then at the bottom, she has a little line, and at the top, she has a little line. And then she has, of course, just like we all do, so we can breathe, 2 nostrils. All right. Let's fill in that ear over here. Aloha. All right, I'll stay up here for a little bit and tighten this up, but I want to thank you very much for joining me this morning. My name is Michael Montgomery, and it was a real pleasure. I want to make mention that we are all celebrating the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney Resort. How amazing is that? 1971. Yeah. I was here in 1996. That's when I walked in the door, and the castle did not look like it looks now. It was really awesome. And tonight on this stage, if you're still here, and I hope you are, Robert Crichton and Heidi Blankenstaff, and she's amazing. She's amazing. Are going to be on the stage tonight performing Disney on Broadway. And so with that, I want to thank you all very much. Have a fantastic day at the EPCOT International Festival of the Arts. Go out, be artistic, be creative, absorb, and have a great day. If you come back later, I might do Lilo's Friend, so you have a set. Oh, I know you're going to like that. I see the hair. I see the hat. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Friends, thank you for joining us for this presentation of the Animation Academy. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day here at the EPCOT International Festival of the Arts.